What is up, you awesome CistReactZ CistReactZ guys? Today we are reacting to game theory. Did Reddit just solve FNAF? So, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the game theorists, and comment down below. Let's get into those bots.
Jake, can you hear me, Jake? What did you do today, Jake? I went to the movies. We watched a scary one. It was so scary that I jumped out of my seat and spilled my popcorn everywhere. Did you do that, Jake? Were you there? Jake.
What is this? This is animation that they're using.
I ate a bunch of pizza there. I got red tomato sauce all over my mouth and more red on my clothes. There were so many other kids there, and then there weren't. I love you, Jake. You know that, right?
What is he reading?
Open the cabinet, Jake. Come over here. Open the cabinet, Jake. Open it. Open it.
Is he doing a Pennywise thing? Or what's going on here? Oh my god. Game theory, alright.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where today the theory is coming from you. That's right. Just because we're all still waiting for security,
but I didn't theorize anything.
Doesn't mean that FNAF theorists out there have been twiddling their thumbs. In fact, the lack of a new game has prompted the community to go back and comb over all the pieces that were in place for us before. Pieces that we might have overlooked or missed the first time out. And it was this thorough re-review of the clues that prompted what may be the biggest fan theory to blow up in over a year. And that's saying a lot since 2020 was full of us connecting massive pieces of this franchise's lore. I mean, with the help of Fazbear's frights, throughout last year's videos, we managed to pinpoint the year of the missing children's incident
that we got from Scott on Reddit.
We solidly connected Foxy Bird
kind of fitting that Reddit did solve this,
and
Scott's been active on Reddit.
That two spirits are trapped inside Golden Freddy, not just one. Our vengeful spirit Cassidy.
I just want to say that one book where that one guy killed the guy that he was jealous of inside of Golden Freddy, that movie was that book was fucked up. Like that fazbear frights was fucked up. I'm glad that he died inside of Golden Freddy in the end. Like I forgot what his name was, but that guy got what was coming to him.
As well as our Bite of 83 victim, the Crying Child. But have you ever noticed that that kid doesn't have a name? I mean, it's been 6 years since he was introduced into the franchise.
6 years since FNAF 4?
And we still don't have any hints
as to
what
the year my channel came out and the month
name might actually be when he's, you know, experiencing literally any other emotion. Wait, is that Crying Child? But no, that's Happy Child, and that's Angry Child, and that's Confused Child. That's Apathetic Child. That is Passionate Child. Nope,
Passionate Child.
Ooh, is that Emotionally Repressed Child? Hashtag relatable there. But really,
like Isaac Child, what the heck?
That. We know the puppet's name, Charlie, and her father, Henry. We know that baby was originally Elizabeth Afton. Purple guy / Springtrap is William Afton. Other purple guy is Michael Afton. There's the missing children's incident victims, Jeremy, Fritz, Susie, Gabriel, and Cassidy, the vengeful spirit, who is at least one of the things trapped inside Golden Freddy. I mean, there is a name for pretty much every single character in this franchise.
Don't ignore me.
One kid. The one kid who, wouldn't you know, was also important enough to have the first on-screen death
why do you think people ignore you, BB?
Like
you're so
we
mean.
should probably be able to solve this one by now, right? Like, we should probably have gotten a name for him somewhere along the line, or at the very least, the means by which to solve for his name.
Dude, what's in the box? Whatever happened with the box?
Today might just be the day where we solve exactly.
Like, really, didn't Scott just, like, present the box and then just said, like, there are some secrets that are just best kept safe, and then just the box has just been at the back of our minds, like, since the series, since like the 4th game came out.
Exactly that.
Like, we don't even know what's in the box to this day.
Wolfie 1740 Kingdom thinks that they've cracked the code to finally solve the final name of the FNAF mystery.
I wouldn't trust a Reddit user, but let's see what he's got.
The Bite of 83 victim, a proper identity. So break out your tambourines, theorists, because it's Morty time. It's a theory review.
Leave your theories in the comments below.
Might be copyrighted, but Morty time.
That's right. Today's theory starts where all the best theories begin, dabbing Chica. That's right, folks, we're back to the most important lore item in the whole franchise. Not any of the novels. Certainly not the games. Those are just afterthoughts at this point. Nope, it's back to the children's activity book.
So it is the
FNAF Survival Logbook. In a past FNAF theory, we had a huge revelation about how this thing works. Basically, there are 3 people present within this book. There's Mike, who's alive and always writes everything in red pen. There's Cassidy, who haunts the book and speaks speaks in ghostly faded text, but
Fucking
there's a
Voldemort.
second spirit here, the crying child, who's forced to communicate by actually altering the words that are found in the book. The example that proves it is right here. Cassidy says, "The party was for you," and the crying child responds on page 89 by altering the text of the book to read, "It was for me." We know FNAF 4's party wasn't for Mike, and we know Cassidy wouldn't be saying this to themselves. As such, it must be crying child acknowledging what Cassidy has said. Same thing here on page 59 with Cassidy asking, "What do you see?" And crying child answering on page 109, "I can't see." Again, altering the actual print of the logbook. So that alone was pretty huge, and it went a long way to supporting the theory that both Cassidy and crying child possess Golden Freddy. And that alone would be pretty awesome, but it still leaves a major part of this book unsolved. You see, on page 95, there's a loose thread that's never been tied up, one that has personally driven me crazy for years.
I actually thought that was on the page.
It's a grid where you're told to draw an 8-bit Foxy. Just another random activity in this children's workbook, right? Wrong. The grid is numbered, and you can see in faint print that you're supposed to put letters into the squares, with the first few already being put in. So in our quest to solve Golden Freddy's name years ago, we collected the page numbers where the phrase "my name" appeared, we added them together per the instructions hidden in the book, and then we plugged those coordinates into the Foxy alphabet grid to get the name Cassidy. Good game, everyone. Let's all treat ourselves to some orange slices and give ourselves a pat on the back.
You guys actually did that?
Except that's not how it worked.
Jeez, I would not have the patience.
Surprise and confusion.
I just wait for Scott to say it himself.
Not the alphabet grid that was clearly being telegraphed to us, but rather the word search. And apparently we were right to do that, since Scott Cawthon himself confirmed in his FNAF movie announcement the critical role that a child named Cassidy plays within the lore. But all of this still means one thing. The alphabet grid is awkwardly left completely unused, despite it obviously needing to be used to solve one of the mysteries within this book.
It's
and that's
too
where
big
Wolfie
brain for me.
1740
I
stepped
have no
in.
brain.
In the book, there's one Cassidy question that's left hanging. On page 31, Cassidy asks, "Do you remember your name?" Of course he does. He's the crying child, duh. Crying child Afton. His friends call him Bite Victim for short. Just rolls off the tongue. But seeing that the logbook had helped to solve for Cassidy's name, Wolfie suspected that it might also be helpful in solving this other name, using, you guessed it, the Foxy alphabet grid. What Wolfie noticed was that the crying child specifically uses the Nights 4 and 5 shift rating questionnaires to speak with Cassidy. For the first 3 nights, the section reads as follows: overall, fulfillment, health, stress, purpose,
I didn't even know these
hope,
had
and
nights.
existential dread. But on nights 4 and 5, you have other things mixed in here, like "I'm scared," and "it was for me." So Wolfie reverse engineered things, taking Bite Victim's answers and matching them to the page numbers where Cassidy asks the question. To quote from Wolfie's own post, the first one is "I can hear sounds." The page it's responding to is 75, which says, "Does he still talk to you?" And one trend to notice is that all 4 pages have a piece of blood on it. Next is "It was for me," which is responding to page 103's question of "The party was for you." Third is "I can't see," responding to page 59's "What do you see?" And last is "I'm scared," which stumped me, so I went off of what I already had. End quote. He then fully filled out the Foxy chart with the alphabet, and going in the order that Bite Victim's answers appear, he followed the grid code to find the following 4 letters: E-V-A-N. Evan. After 6
I just got chills.
Could it possibly
I
be
just got
that
chills,
Evan
bruh.
is the name of the crying child? Honestly, I'm not sure. Or at least I'm not convinced.
Bro, I like legit just got chills. Bro, if this Reddit kid, whoever the hell did this, Wolf guy, I already forgot, I'm sorry. If that guy actually solved it, dude, that is insane. Because how long have we actually had the logbook? Sorry, it's 2 a.m. Like, how long have we actually had the survival logbook for? Like, 2 years, bro? Like, and the Evan was just right in front of us? If that's true...
off of this alone. Don't
Jesus,
get me wrong,
dude.
I don't think that this is a bad theory at all. Quite the contrary, in fact. Anything that tries to figure out the true purpose of that stupid Foxy grid is gonna get credit in my book.
It's always Foxy that's causing trouble, dude.
Methodology. Throughout the book, Cassidy asks a lot of questions, but only 4 of them actually matter. Wolfie also points out the bloodstains, but there are bloodstains on a lot of the pages throughout this book, not just those 4. And even then, an answer like "I can hear sounds" to the question of "Does he still talk to you?" it feels feels just a bit off. It's not very precise. You know, it feels random, arbitrarily trying to fit pieces together in a book that has been crafted to be anything but arbitrary. I mean, the Cassidy code alone required you to find 6 numbers, find a page that points to another page on what to do with those 6 numbers, and then translate all 6 of them into the word search. Multi-step puzzles like this have to be precise in order to work. And while the puzzle pieces in Wolfie's theory certainly fit, they fit a bit loosely, you know? I mean, even Wolfie admits that finding the last N was a bit of a stretch, and it forced him to break his own methodology.
Too much of a stretch.
In fact, another Reddit user, Godzilla813105, tried to correct for that to find the N in a different way. One of the other lingering threads of the book is a series of tally marks written by Mike that never quite add up to anything. They're never used, or at least their
maybe his favorite game is just Dead by
discovered,
Daylight,
but again,
bro.
Similar to the Foxy grid, they must mean something, right?
Is this a waste of time?
From Godzilla's post, I realize that there's a magazine Foxy is holding on the first page of Night 1 that has 5-3 on it. When you add 5 and 3, you get 8. Then I took every single tally mark set in the book and added them together. I got this from the idea of how the whole quiz thing at the end of the shift says tally up your score. Putting all of these together gets you 47. 47 on the Foxy grid gives you the letter N, end quote.
Oh.
Again, it sounds good on paper, and I love the attempt to make sense of it all, but the why of it just doesn't line up for me. Why add tally marks to this number on Foxy's magazine? How are those elements related? And why would they be connected to a completely different set of 3 numbers?
Scott, we're too stupid. Just give us the names.
The story just doesn't hold. Contrary to what Godzilla says in their post, there is no tally.
I know it wouldn't be much fun if Scott just put every single element on the table for us and, like, said this is what it is and this is what it is, but Jesus, man, it's been six long years of us trying to solve this, and, like, setting us through a loop like this with the survival logbook with all these puzzles, like, you gotta find 5, 6, 7 to get 1 letter. It's like, Jesus, man. I don't know about y'all. Hit that like button.
At the end of those nightly
turn notifications if y'all want to just know the lore of FNAF.
In short, it all feels like we're convinced
that
we have a solution to
ready
the
to know the
problem,
lore
and we're
too?
trying to back our way into how to get there. This is classic confirmation bias, where, as you conduct research, you try and find sources to justify your belief, or you retrofit the data to
Scott
fit the
is
conclusion
actually
that
an
you're
AI
looking for.
program.
And I should know about confirmation bias, because lots of our theories over the years play with that very concept. Mario is a villain, provided you ignore all the times that he saves the kingdom. You play as the king in Hollow Knight, as long as you squint really hard during this one cutscene that might disprove that. For me, theories like those are all about telling a story, connecting dots that definitely exist within a game that flip your understanding of the plot, but also sometimes go against what is much more likely and probably much more intended by the developer. And the theories that I tend to focus on are the ones where you can connect a surprising number of dots, even if 1 or 2 tend to disprove it. They're just meant to be fun thought experiments, you know? I like playing with the lore of these worlds. But here with FNAF, we have to be really careful. While I love both of these posts, FNAF theories tend to be about trying to solve things, speaking things into the generally accepted canon, and as a result, the methods by which we come to conclusions require more scrutiny. And here, the methodology of arriving at the name Evan just doesn't hold up as well as I'd like. But that doesn't mean the name Evan doesn't hold up. Because here's the twist, friends, this isn't just coming from the logbook.
I mean, honestly, if y'all want my opinion, I mean, it seems like the kid, and I think MATPAT said it himself, like he lined up all the letters correctly on the grid, and then I think he got more numbers to, you know, do the little cross thing to get Evan. I mean, he could be right. I think he's right. Maybe the kid's right. Because maybe we're just thinking too hard on this, and I don't think Scott wants us to think too hard, and maybe if we're thinking too hard, then maybe it's right. Like I said, I don't even know, man. Scott's just everywhere with this lore. He's everywhere.
Shortly after Christmas, the fazbear Frights book series released its latest installment, Blackbird, and it contains what is to date the most moving story in this franchise.
I still need to read
The Real
that.
Jake, short story number 2, tells the tale of 9-year-old Jake, who's dying as a result of a tumor in his brain. With his mother prematurely passed away and his father overseas in the military, Jake is under constant care by the young Margie. But there's one other special person in Jake's life. a mysterious figure named Simon who speaks to him at night from a small cabinet in his room. Quote, the first night Simon had talked to Jake, Simon had made it clear he would be in the cabinet until Jake got well enough to walk to the cabinet. When you can do that, I'll be here waiting for you. End quote. And well, it seems like Simon should be a sinister force since, you know, this is a FNAF book after all.
This connects to FNAF 4?
An expression of love. Margie had created this small doll named Simon with a walkie-talkie inside of him that allows Jake's father to speak to his son, distorting his voice to make him sound younger. Simon, every night, insists that Jake speak about what the real
his
Jake is
fredbear
doing. The one who
doll.
isn't afflicted with cancer. The one who is outside playing with his friends. All of
and
this
he's saying it might be
to give
Jake,
Jake
who's
hope, with
the
Margie
FNAF 4
updating
kid.
the doll every few nights with food stains and scrapes on his knees to reflect the adventures that the real Jake has been having. It's a beautifully sad story with some legitimate surprises that I'm actually not going to spoil here. But the reason I bring it up is that strangely, it is the only one of the 18 fazbear frights stories so far that
connects
has
with FNAF
no
4?
explicit connection to FNAF.
No.
At
Never
all.
mind.
Zero.
Never
Every
mind.
other story thus far has mentioned a Fazbear pizzeria or connected back to a familiar animatronic in some way. This one doesn't. Yes, it does have some lore connection to the ongoing CistReactZ storyline, but the lack of anything FNAF stands out like a sore thumb when every other story thus far has connected back in some way, which is why the name of Jake's father stands out so strongly. Jake's father is named Evan, which alone is interesting, but becomes much more noteworthy when you consider that he has a brother named Michael, his only living family.
I mean, come on, MATPAT's there!
This is how Michael is described in the book. Quote, he's a little different. He's intense about making money, and he's really good at it. Just the way he is can make him seem like he's not human. So he's like a cyborg with bad programming.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
Two brothers,
come
one
on,
named
Scott.
Michael, who gets
laying it a little
to
too thick
human
there, huh?
Robot hybrid. Where have I heard that one before?
Father, it's me, Michael.
And that's just the surface level stuff, friends. Looking deeper, this is a story about a father communicating with his son via walkie-talkie, just like we see in Sister Location. Heck, you see him communicating through the walkie-talkie that is in a plushie. In the real Jake, it's Simon the doll with a walkie-talkie inside of him. In the games, it's psychic friend Fredbear with a walkie-talkie. Both children suffer from a severe
there was a
head
walkie-talkie
wound,
next
Jake
to
with
him.
his brain tumor,
I'm pretty sure
and
MATPAT
crying
just
child
said
with
it,
the
but
bite of 83. In the story, Jake goes on to possess the Simon doll, only for him to then pass on to the CistReactZ, sharing that endoskeleton with another soul named Andrew. In the games, could it be that our crying child dies in the hospital and goes on to possess psychic friend Fredbear, which then somehow gets him passed into the Golden Freddy suit, where he then shares it with another soul named Cassidy?
Or maybe
and
he's
all of this is happening
maybe
in a
he's just
story
possessing
that
a
has
doll.
no connection to FNAF, but very
Then again, why would
clearly
he-
has a connection
where's
to
he at,
FNAF.
then?
I'm just saying that the absence makes it all the more conspicuous.
That's
in short,
interesting.
I'm not convinced that the FNAF survival logbook is solved or anything like that. Right now, I'm just not sure the methodology for arriving at a final name is really as solid as I'd like it to be to enter my personal headcanon. But strangely enough, the name Evan feels like we're onto something. It has some very compelling evidence to support it from the real Jake story. So at this point, I want to hear from you. Let me know. Are you sold on the crying child being Evan alongside his older brother Mike?
I'm kinda
Or is
sold
this
on
yet
that
another
just because of
example
the
Scott
Blackbird
trying to
information
bury
that
the
you just
lead a bit
gave
and
me?
confuse us by using the same name a bunch of times, shoving Michael in a bunch of places where he doesn't belong? All I know is that I can't wait for the next book coming out in March. At this point, forget Security Breach. It's all about those sick book drops, my friends. 'Cause
Yo,
let's
what
be
happened to
honest
that
with
doll?
ourselves. At this point, uncovering the lore of FNAF requires more reading than your typical JRPG. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. And hey, if you missed our first quest to solve the
Okay, so, if you want to ask me, everybody in the comments and everybody who's watching this, am I sold on it? I mean, he did. What MATPAT says is the Reddit user did put all the pieces where they needed to be, but MATPAT's just not sold on Evan because it correlates with the same name from the book. Which, yeah, if you think about it, on one side, why would Scott give us a direct name to somebody from the alternate universe when he's kind of never done that before? I mean, we got Cassidy from the books, I think, but well, yeah, didn't we get Cassidy from the books? Well, I think we got Cassidy from the game. Well, I don't know. I'm going to go with my assumption and say we got Cassidy from the books and just drop the book assumption. I'm just going to say I'm sold. It's 2 a.m. Actually, now it's 3 a.m. I can't give you guys a full-fledged theory right now without doubting myself and asking too many questions. So I make this video way too long. I'm gonna say I'm sold on it because like the two names correlate. Maybe it's the crying child's name, maybe it's not. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I can't. But it's an interesting theory. It's an interesting way this guy has come up with the name. Let me know what you guys think.